Hi, welcome to the second week of creative writing. Have you ever got the giggles when you shouldn't have? What set you off? How did people react? This week we're going to be thinking about a time when you got the giggles, maybe in a place where you're supposed to be quiet or serious, like a school assembly, a wedding ceremony, a shop, a community meeting, something like that. Giggling might seem a strange topic for creative writing, but getting the giggles is something we've all experienced at least once in our lives. And it's a moment of losing control. This is rich territory for writers. If you want to show something about somebody's character or about the tension of a situation, such as a funeral perhaps, or when someone is doing something important like sitting an exam or sitting in the waiting room of a doctor's surgery, these are moments where you can easily collapse into a fit of the giggles. It's a way of releasing tension. So it's a way of, you can show this in your writing, this kind of loss of control that is something to do with easing the tension of what you're doing or going through. And getting the giggles is not something that you usually do alone. So you usually get the giggles with someone else. It's usually two people, but it could be three or more, I guess. But you really need to have another person there to set you off and to kind of keep you going as well. You know, one person tries to stop, the other one starts again and sets you off again. And it's very much a two-person show. So this can show something in the writing about the relationship between those people who are giggling, and maybe it taps into something about their past shared experience, or other times when they've got the giggles, this might be something that they do together. But it's a way of showing something sometimes quite tender about relationships between people. I can remember one of many times when I've got the giggles when I shouldn't have, and I was a new mum, and my partner and I took my son, our new baby, who was only about, 6 weeks old or something, to a poetry reading. My poor children got dragged around to poetry readings all the time. And partway through, this person was up reading their meaningful poem, and partway through the reading, when everything else was silent, my son made this very loud, rude noise that babies sometimes make. And I really tried not to get the giggles. I didn't look at my partner because we would set each other off. But then the man a few seats down leaned forward and towards us and said, "Everyone's a critic." And that made me start giggling, and which made my partner get the giggles, and we had to leave quite quickly. In a way, this was probably a release of tension for us, anxious first parents taking baby out for possibly the first time, I think. Well, not the first time to see other family, but the first time to a social event. So, yeah, as I said, it's rich territory to write about. And it's also quite good to bring humour into your writing from time to time. So I'm going to ask you to write about giggling this week. I'm going to ask you to do a free writing about one time when you got the giggles, when you shouldn't have. I just think it's important to include these moments when things don't go as expected in your writing, when things went wrong or suddenly got hilarious, or when you make a mistake. These are such human and interesting things and stories, and we can all relate to them because we've all done them ourselves. So these hiccups are part of being human. So bring them to your writing. Bring them to your characters so that they seem human and believable. I hope you enjoy getting in touch with your inner giggling person this week. I look forward to catching up with you on our next interactive session and reading your giggling work.